Before we begin, I just want to say a couple of things. Number one, I have friends. I have friends that I've had for over 20 years. I have really good friends. I have people that I might go years without talking to, and then I do, and it's like, no time has been lost. I think friends are important. I do. And that's pretty much the last positive thing I'm going to say about it. Because if you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with and give your time to, and none of those people are doing cool and exciting shit and taking risks, leave. You don't owe anything to these people. You don't owe any loyalty to them just because you've known them for a long time and you've went to the same school or whatever. Okay? I left. I used to live on the West Coast. I moved to Alaska, where I didn't know anybody. And that was one of the greatest things I have ever done for becoming a better version of myself. And the explanation is pretty simple. It's pretty objective. It's pretty black and white, which is this. If you're trying to better yourself and really, maybe this is the way to put it, anxiety, depression, all of these things are identity-based. They're how you view yourself, right? So how are you supposed to improve yourself and take new risks and try new things and want to build upon that identity when you're only ever hanging out with people that are going to see you as you were and not as the person you are trying to become, right? There's friends do this kind of backstabby thing where they secretly want you to fail. Even really good friends, they want you to fail. And it's not cruel or mean or evil. They just don't want you to reach escape velocity. They don't want you to leave the shitty neighborhood. They don't want you to reach a new level of success because things like envy and avarice are human nature. People, by their very nature, are extremely selfish. And even when they're your close friends, to see you doing well and doing well for yourself makes them a little bit upset. This is the truth. There are some exceptions, but I really, honestly, in my heart of hearts, believe that is the truth. And I think that really the grand exception to that rule is a life partner. Having a life partner is the one person that wants to see you succeed and is your biggest cheerleader and is your best friend. And that's the exception. These people that you hang around with, your roommates, blah, 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 that you feed... friends tend to feed off of the negative things in each other's lives. More often than not, friends bond through the negative. Whereas a life partner, sometimes you do. A lot of the times you wake up and you're like competing with each other about who had the shittiest night of sleep. Pretty common. But for the most part, a life partner is someone that you really have to build a positive foundation with, because what you are going to suffer together is so much worse and longer. You're going to suffer all of life's fates. Parents get older, they pass away. Animals die. Jobs are gained and jobs are lost. Houses burn down. Floods happen. These are the things that you endure with your life partner. And so it tends to be a little bit more important of a foundation. Friends, not so much. You and your friends aren't going to buy a house together. You're not going to have a kid together. You're not going to share a retirement account. Okay? Friends are, for the most part, in my opinion, completely fucking overrated. Completely overrated. And if you are, and this isn't just like me shitting on the idea of friendship. This is me talking to a very specific kind of person. I'm talking to a very specific kind of person, right? Which is, there's someone out there, and if this is you, this is who this is resonating with, is someone who has been stuck in a rut and you can't seem to get out. And you talk to your friends about how you're feeling, and they're going through the same shit. And you have ideas of what you could do and should do, but you don't do it. you need to escape that friend group immediately. You need to sever it. You need to give yourself like 90 to 180 days separated from all of it. Disconnect. You literally need to be that lady in the Hallmark movie that goes to the lakeside cabin and finds herself. That needs to be you, and you need to leave the cell phone at home, right? Identity is so important because of how we define it through our childhood. Childhood is like the pillar of how we see ourselves. And if you do the good work, if you talk to your parents about why they did this or didn't do that, and you kind of you understand them as human beings and as parents who did their best and tried, or maybe they didn't, maybe they fucking sucked, right? Once you get over that hurdle and you stop defining yourself by the shit that happened in your childhood, and you stop defining yourself by the victim mentality of the shit going on around you that is totally out of your control. Everybody's fucking oppressed. Welcome to literally the world where you have corruptible humans as gatekeepers and then humans that are born with nothing. This is society. Society is civilization is of an oppressive nature. It always has been, it always will be, because humans are fucking flawed. If you can get over all that, if you can get over woe is me, and I have no power or autonomy or agency in my life, and the best thing I can do is go out with my friends on a Friday night and get fucked up and complain about all of it, right? If you can get over all of that and over your childhood and all the mistakes and regret and all that, you're going to come to a place of, okay, well, now what do I want? And you're going to have to make a decision about what would make you happy, right? Some people, they just give up. They say, whether they fail 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then they say, I'm done. I'm not going to try to find a significant other. Dating's too hard. The world's too cruel. I'm too fat. Blah, blah, blah. And they just give up, which is great, because then you never have to try to do anything ever again. And you never get to test yourself against the woes of life to find out whether you are steel or whether you are wood. What a convenient life it is to just give up. And that's what friend groups tend to do. They tend to talk each other out of things that, on the whole, would probably better you, would probably make you happier, would probably make those around you happier. Because it's easier to sit around, it's that saying, right? Like, misery loves company. That's the fucking truth of friendships, especially friendships that go way back. Misery loves company. So escape it. Move away. Move to the other side of town. I live super far away from my family. I live super far away from all my friends and people I went to high school with. I think about how close I was to these people for so long. Like literally, like thicker than thieves, just like my brothers. People that they were there for me and I did my best to be there for them. And it was so important. In my 20s, in my 30s, dude, I've given enough life to these people. I've given them enough of my support and my ear and my time and my energy. Even the ones that are out doing really cool shit, right? At the end of the day, like I said, friends tend to be more selfishly focused and negatively focused, whereas a life partner tends to be more positively focused and more supportive. And you need that positivity and that support in order to better yourself. It's that simple. So many people are have crippling anxiety and crippling depression. And it's like, well, who the fuck are you hanging out with? Who are you giving all your time to? How often are you talking to your mom that tells you that you're just the same as you were in high school, or friends that tell you you're just the same as you were in high school? At 30, that's literally death. You do not want anybody to tell you that you're exactly like how you were in high school at 30, right? If that's the case, either those people are failing you or they're telling you the truth and you are failing yourself. You need to be exceedingly changing in your tastes, and how you view the world. I don't, but to come full circle, you do reach a point in which friends become important again. It's important to go out and hang out and blow off steam and all that stuff. 100%, right? But this idea of having roommates at 30, not good. You should probably stop surrounding yourself with people that you've known for 2 decades that will never see you other than the fucking asshole dumbass you were in high school. That's probably a box that you should crawl out of and run away as fast as you can. Now, here's the thing. I know that it's super hard for people to look out into the world and say, I made a whole video about it, about how dating is impossible now. It's really, really difficult. But I don't understand this need, this lack of a need to better yourself. Internally, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just one of those people that are built different, okay? I am motivated through self-hate and constantly not thinking that I'm doing enough and knowing that my goals are so far away and that every day I'm not out there trying to fulfill them. Someone else is kicking my ass. Someone else is going to take that job. Someone else is working twice as hard as me. And just by me not working and them working twice as hard, I'm actually moving 4 steps back every time I'm not trying to pursue that goal, right? Of finding the thing that would make me happy. But how are you even supposed to know what makes you happy when you're surrounding yourself with this group of people that what makes them happy is being fucking miserable? What makes them happy is being in denial of their responsibilities, of being in denial of the fact that it's probably time to grow up. And that feels bad. That feels really bad. Because I really think that the people that I'm talking about in this instance, that I'm talking to, right? I think in their mind, they just need a break. They just need a little bit of luck. They're just buying their time until XYZ happens. And I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand people that fucking sit around and wait for life to happen to them. If you're over the age of 24, haven't you figured it out yet? Life is something that you create around you. You can create a whole new identity. You can become the person that, loves pizza and wants to go review pizzas on Instagram, and that's you're Daniel the pizza guy now, dude. Or fucking Dave Portnoy. It's like you can do literally whatever. You can, especially in the digital world, you can create whatever identity you want. You can be seen as whatever you want. But you're gonna keep relegating yourself to being this glob, this high school glob of a person that never fully forms or develops. You just keep making these fucking mistakes along the way and never asking yourself, man, maybe it's time to suck it up. Maybe it's time to take responsibility and accountability and do something worth a fuck and take a risk in my life for once. It's wild. And that's really the main point of what I wanted to talk about, was anxiety and confidence and depression, which I think all stem from the same place, which is regret. I think that we're all supposed to feel like the better version of ourselves that we wish we could be is at our fingertips if only we could grab it. But we never do, because it's so much easier to grab our phones and swipe, to grab the remote and turn on the TV, to grab our mouse and keyboard and play some games. It's so much easier to grab that than to grab who we were meant to be. Pick up the TV or the remote or the mouse or the keyboard. It takes no thought. It takes no thought. You know exactly what you're going for. You know right how to get there. Boom, it's there. But to be who you were meant to be, that would require you to do two very important things. Admit that you are not that person right now to yourself, and to truly understand how far you are away from becoming that person and what it's going to take to get there. What would it take to get there? Would it take losing 50, 60 pounds? Would it take learning how to code to make a game? Would it take learning how to make a website to sell some t-shirts and going to the bank and getting a loan to start a screen printing clothing company? Would it take some night classes at the community college, dropping $2,000 to go take some EMT classes and become an EMT and save people and help people? What is the distance between who you are now and the person that you were meant to be? What is the distance? What do you got to do to get there? Right? And the answer is definitely drop all of the people who will refuse to see you as this person. If you have friends that refuse to see you as the person that you should and could become, and only ever want to see you as your miserable now self, and then talk about how that journey's impossible and not worth your time and why bother and yeah, right, 1 in a million, fucking drop them. Get out. It's really the thing that I think holds people back. And this is just talking from, okay, let me just say this from a personal experience. My biggest fear in life was to die within 15 miles of where I grew up. That was my biggest fucking fear. I grew up on the West Coast. I live in the East Coast. I've lived in Alaska and Texas and North Carolina and like 3 other states, and I've traveled all around. The idea of dying like where I grew up, and I had not a shit childhood, but you know, I had the kind of childhood where you make enough mistakes where it just like repulses you to like think about all the choices that you made. You're like, God, I could have tried harder. I could have been a better person. I could have believed in myself more. I could have been nicer. I could have done this, that. And when I go visit my hometown and I drive those streets and I look at my old high school or my old middle school and I see those things, I get fucked. It makes my skin crawl. I'm like, fuck that person. I wanted to run away as far as I possibly could from that person. But the friends that you keep or that I kept, they're just reminders of that person, of that failure, of those mistakes, right? You have to get away. You have to get away from that person to become someone new. You have to get away from that place to become someone new. And then you'll fucking do it, and then you'll do it. You'll achieve some amount of success and become some degree within this person of who you were truly meant to be. And then all of those friends that never fucking believed in you, that never supported you, that never had your back, that didn't want to take the journey with you, will say, I knew it the whole time. I always believed in you, man. No, they fucking didn't. And that's okay. Because the only person that had to the whole time was you. So escape. Get out. So much anxiety comes from a lack of... Let's talk about laziness, actually. I think that's really the key here. I think anxiety is a lot of things. It's fear of the unknown. It's a self-confidence issue. It all ties back to identity. But Jesus, let's talk about laziness, dude. What about laziness? What about not even trying or giving up after 1 or 2 attempts? Dude, laziness is the thing that's like, I don't get it. I viscerally have the memory of being like 14, 15 and feeling like time was running out. And the idea of staying up super late and sleeping in and taking huge fat naps during the day and just wasting my time always felt to me like that's what caused me anxiety. And I get the worst anxiety when I'm not working. It's really hard for me to like relax and enjoy shit outside of work. Work is what makes me happy. I'm a workaholic. But then again, I get to love what I do because I've made pizzas, I've sold shoes, I've done construction, I've had like 30 different jobs in different industries. I've done all the shitty jobs. I've done all of the shitty jobs. And now I get to do something that I relatively love. I get to work with people that are creative, and I get to, write and do all these things that I love. So now, yeah, I'm really excited. And a lot of people look at that and they go, well, of course you're excited. You're doing what you love. Yeah, well, guess what? I had to take a huge fucking risk to quit my job and to jump into a new career with 2 feet. And I got very little sleep because I was studying to be better. I was learning who are the people I should worship in this space. Who are the new heroes to me? If you want to get into architecture or some new thing, who are the best people in that space? And then go study them and then try to emulate them. That's what most people do with like music. When you don't just start out writing originals, you learn how to play Green Day. And then you write your own shit. This idea of laziness, especially like within the framework of friend groups. Bro, you can't escape that. That is a black hole. Just even when you find these friend groups that are like kind of trying to start things with each other and bounce ideas, it's just a jerk off. It's not real. Because nobody there has the real gumption to put pedal to the metal and do action before theory. That a lot, like that 70s show when like they're all sitting around on the couches and they're all just talking about shoulda, coulda, woulda and theory, but no action. That's the worst way to be. I'm the opposite. I do very little planning and I just find out through mistakes and I keep running until my head goes through the next wall and the next wall and the next door and the next door. But then again, I don't keep any friends around to tell me that's a dumb idea. I don't keep any friends around to discourage me from doing these things. I don't have anybody looking at me and going, wow, Taylor, I remember fucking you're the guy that, If I would have listened to them, I would have never started video editing. I would have never had the opportunities that I had. I would still be drinking every night, being a fucking loser. In retrospect, this whole video sounds kind of harsh. It's pretty harsh, dude, but I think it's so true, man. And I see it in Netflix shows and, things like the idea of having a friend group is desirable. And making really selfish decisions is it's like the idea of like toxic masculinity or like this alpha sigma grind mindset. It's like you just have to focus on you in the way, but it's like they do it from this like predator, like just gotta go out and kill the day. Just gotta go out and kill the day, bro. Which I think is a really dumb way to look at it. I like to look at it like I'm sitting on a log in a forest, just smoking a pipe and thinking about my life, how I could be, how I could get there, and what I need to do. And I don't mean for this video to sound so harsh, I just think that for the most part, the company that you keep is more often than not the company that keeps you down. And I think that especially if you are older than 26, 27, it's time to let the friendships go. It's time to figure out what you want to do. If you're single and you're kind of wanting a life partner, this is another thing too. A lot of friend groups, let's say a lot of friend groups will be like maybe a person will get a significant other, right? Start dating, it's a new relationship, and they want to introduce them to the friend group. And that's a big worry, and that's a big anxiety, because what's the friend group going to say? Who gives a shit what the friend group says? This person, this potential person that you're dating that's new is so much more fucking important than any of these people that you've known for 10, 15 years. Okay? Like I said, you're not going to buy a mortgage with those people. You're not going to share a bank account or a retirement account. You're not going to have a dog together that dies. Okay? You're not going to adopt kids or have kids. You're not going to buy a fucking timeshare. Like 90% of the things that you do as an adult, you're not going to do it with them. So who gives a shit? And then you got that twice, because you each have to meet each other's friend groups. And it's an anxiety and it's a worry. And what if one of them doesn't like that person or gives you a bad vibe and is like, I don't know, dude. Who gives a shit? Your friend groups are infinitely less important than you trying to find your soulmate, your true love, the person that you're meant to be with. That's your number one priority. And some people say, I don't think that's important. Okay, well, you're fucking wrong. You're just fucking wrong. You know, it's like I don't really think it's important that you spend your life with someone. I think that's kind of bullshit. Okay, well, you're fucking absolutely wrong. And you'll never know how wrong you are until you taste the ambrosia of the gods that is true love. And then you'll realize, oh, I was wrong the whole time. Yeah, we know. Us who have it, us who are married to our best friends, we know. We know what you're missing out on. That's why I get on here, on this mic, and I say, damn, it's important. Get out there. I know it's hard. I know it's impossible, dude. I know that you could take those at-bats 100 times and strike out 100 times. And it's rough. You got depression and anxiety, and you got friend groups to worry about, and this judgment and blah, blah, blah. I know. Still, it's still worth it. It's still worth it to get out there and try. Do not take no for an answer. Life is too short to take no for an answer, okay? Just keep going. Keep fighting the fight. Keep trying to find that person. Because if there's one thing that's objectively true, dude, is that there is somebody for everybody. No matter what you look like, no matter what you do, there is someone out there that will love you for you. Man, I am just dropping some fire quotes. Please, someone write all my fire quotes in the comment section. Anyway, that was a joke. Anyway, I just want people to be happy. And I think one of the biggest problems is that people don't know how to be happy. They've fooled themselves into thinking that they know. They think that happiness is only having to pay half the rent because you have roommates at 29. That's cool. Then you have more money to do shit by yourself and for yourself. That's cool. That's exactly what corporate America wants. It wants you to just be a consumer and just spend all your time selfishly trying to do things for yourself. So important, man. If we're lucky enough to grow old in this life, I think the luckiest version of that is to grow old with someone that was by your side through all the stuff that comes in life and knew you as you really were. There was no deception. There was no lies. They loved you when you were up, and they loved you when you were down. To grow old with someone who knows all of your flaws and supports all of your wild ideas, even the ones that don't work out, and they don't say, I told you so. They say, you'll get them next time. To grow old with someone like that is beyond a friendship. So the next time you're hanging out with your friends and you're all complaining about why your lives are like this, realize that some small part of it is all your faults. I'm sorry, this is so negative. Realize that some small part of it is because you guys refuse to acknowledge that maybe that friendship should have ended a while ago, or at least you should go on a break and you should try to find yourselves without each other and then come back and see what happens. And that's all I have to say. I really love talking to you guys. I really love making these videos. If there's anything specifically that you want to ask me or for me to talk about, leave a comment down in the comment section, and make sure to like and subscribe. And thank you guys very much. Bye.